Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be me explaining what my assessment was like and how my experience was with the Sachs Center. So if you're interested in watching this video, then please stay tuned. Okay, so let's get right into it. So when I made the decision to get assessed for autism, beforehand I did speak with my husband about it because we needed to discuss the price. The company, well, not the company, but the facility that I chose was the Sachs Center, which is located in New York. It was completely virtual, and the cost was $695. So because of that, I did need to get the okay from my husband, and he was okay with it. And so I went online to their website and I scheduled me an appointment, and then I received an email afterwards, and they let me know, everything to expect, the cost and all that. And then once I agreed to that, I was sent another link which had me enter in my info, and then there was also some medical questions. What did you want to get assessed for? How were you, as a child? What makes you think that you may be autistic or have ADD or ADHD, because they assess for that as well. And basically I had to fill out a bunch of questions on that and then enter my payment information. So once my appointment was set up, they sent me a link to Zoom, and then the lady came on, and it was kind of awkward at first, because I have social anxiety anyway. So yeah, I told myself that beforehand that I was not going to cry during the assessment, and I ended up crying anyway. But we'll get to that. So the lady that did my assessment, her name was Layla. She was real nice. She made me feel super comfortable, even though there was that social anxiety there, but she made me feel, as comfortable as I could in that scenario. She started off by asking me, why did I think that I had autism? And I asked her, did she want me to start from the beginning or as an adult? And she asked me to kind of, start when I was a child, if I had any kind of developmental delays. And I told her that I did start talking like later on, like probably like 5, when I really started to talk. And then we went over some more things that was personal at that time, because I was a very depressed child, and I thought that I was, healed from that, but talking about it did bring up those old emotions, and I did end up crying when I started to explain, how different I felt as a child, and I always felt that I didn't fit in, and I told her that I would always ask God, why did you put me in this family? This is the wrong family. I don't belong in this family, because I felt so different from my sisters and my mom. You're talking about growing up in an urban neighborhood and me being super quiet, always reading, listening to classical music, listening to Christian rock, and it was so different. I was very quiet. My sisters, they were more outgoing. They were able to socialize way better than me, and here I am, kind of the oddball, and I always felt like I didn't belong. So it was very emotional talking about that. because that was a very emotional time period in my life. After we talked about that, we kind of got into adulthood and the kind of struggles I had. And one of the struggles, is employment. It's always been hard for me to maintain a consistent employment. Usually about a year in, I just can't take it anymore. My body literally rebels against me, and I have to end up quitting, even though, I don't really want to quit, and I know that I need to take care of my bills and all of that. But it's just like at that point, I'm physically and mentally checked out. We talked about some things that I thought that were possibly autism meltdowns. We talked a good bit. The total evaluation was a little over 2 hours. And then towards the end, we did a assessment where she asked me, basically it was like I had to read the questions and then give her the answer. So at the end of that, we went over the scores, and on the first set of questions, I made 44 out of 50, and then the second set of questions, I think I made like 28 out of 33. And she explained to me in detail what autism meant, and how it was a spectrum, and you can sit different in that you want to stay away from labels such as high functioning and low functioning. And she did say that I meet the criteria for an autism diagnosis. And she asked me how I felt about that, and I started to smile because I was so relieved and happy. And I know that sounds weird, but it's like if you grow up your whole life thinking that you're different, that something is wrong with you, and you don't know exactly what it is, it's such a horrible way to live. And then to have a disability and go out your life without knowing that you have that disability, without knowing that you have resources to help you, and so you're getting through life just barely, just going with the flow, going with the wind. And I do feel like my life could have been totally different if I had been diagnosed when I was younger. I do want to make a video talking about my feelings with that, but that's a very emotional video, and so I'm still trying to work my way up to that, because a lot of that has to do with my mother who passed. And I forgave my mom a long time ago for any feelings that she had. I know that we're only human and that parents are not perfect, and so I don't want my video to come off as I don't want my video to be like show my mom in a bad light, because that's not what it is. But I do realize that she didn't have the tools that she needed as a parent, and she did the best that she could do, and that's all I could ever ask for. But saying that, my next video will be with my husband, and we're going to do a video about how does he feel about my autism diagnosis, and has my mental health affected my relationship in any kind of way. But yeah, so that was my experience with the Sachs Center. I totally recommend it. It was completely virtual. I was totally comfortable talking with Layla. Like I said, it is $6.95, but it's a flat rate. They will give you a diagnosis letter. If you do have insurance, they will also give you, a letter with the diagnosis code and how much they charge, and you can get reimbursed for that. But definitely check them out if you are considering doing the assessment. I was able to bypass getting a referral and just set up my appointment, and I'm so glad I chose that route instead of waiting for a referral from my doctor. But yeah, that was my experience. So that's the end of my video. Thank you if you watched the entire video. Definitely subscribe and stay tuned for my next video. Like I said, that video is going to be with my husband, and we will be discussing how does he feel about my autism diagnosis, and has it affected our relationship in any kind of way. So if you have any questions, then leave me a comment and I will try to answer to the best of my ability.